Yes. I'm a little concerned that the state doesn't realize how criminal this is. Ooh. You've arrested me multiple times without any actual due process. You've heaped on debt after debt without any due process. You have not enforced the equal protections of the law or the privileges and immunities of being an American citizen. Now, you've really abused what's known as no contact until there's a mental health evaluation and treatment if recommended. Oh. Now, let's see, you put that on every protection order. Well, let's say you're prejudiced, biased, and in your mind, as soon as the petitioner petitioned the court back in July of 2011, yes, you decided that I was crazy without actually giving me any notice or opportunity to be heard. And that's what you decided. And then you reissued it after the arrest without waiting for the verdict? Yes, by minute order. And then you decided that you would modify it because of Pastor Greg saying, oh, he's crazy. Am I really so fucking crazy as to not understand that if you don't have a job and the petitioner motions the court for a default dissolution of marriage that happens to be illegal, yes, because because I responded in the 90 days. Are you sure that you're not intentionally torturing and harassing me? Now, let's look at the default dissolutions of marriage for the last 20 years. And then the order for permanent support because the guy did or did not respond within the 90 days allowed. As we go through all the child support orders that the state has to enforce because judges don't seem to understand the statute of limitations, they don't seem to believe that the petitioner could fraudulently abuse the judicial system. I'd like to know of all of those default dissolutions of marriage, how many were the permanent order of support that had been submitted as the dissolution of marriage? Yes. Child support worksheets? Yes. Yes, yes. And then you wanted to give her the motion for the default dissolution of marriage? Because at that point we would have been divorced, and anything she put in this temporary order, yes, I would have been obligated as a court order to obey. Now, you have not enforced the laws. Do you understand this? I'm going to sue every judge in the United States that's allowing you to do this. There's accessory before and after. Oh, there's complicity, aiding and giving comfort to, conspiracy, color of law violations, vexatious court proceedings, corrupt practices. Then there's the fraud of allowing for dissolution of marriage where there was a crime on the part of the petitioner of motioning the court for default dissolution. And then there's the issuance of the actual dissolution of marriage without any proof of notice to myself. Now these bankruptcy laws, yes. I just want to make sure because it makes it difficult to bankrupt myself when you have judgments from courts. And then there's chapter 7 and chapter 13. Oh. Now let's say you're a bankruptcy attorney. What's the difference between 7 and 13? Cha-chow. I would think 7 would be a little easier than 13 just because of the numerical order of numbers. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. But I'm thinking chapter 13 really destroys your credit. I mean, it's like the worst type of bankruptcy that you could have to be able to get a court order to remove a superior court order's judgment when it should have expired because of the statute of limitations. Hey. Then I found out the statute of limitations on back child support after the child is emancipated after the age of 18 is 10 years. Now, let's see, that would be 20 years from now, and I'll be 68 years old before the statute of limitations. Now, are you dumb fuckers in the sheriff's office? Well, here's the problem. You issue a court order that was a fraudulent court order when The petitioner motioned the court for a default dissolution of marriage. It was a dissolution that was filed in bad faith because she had me arrested 3 days after you did it, Fuchin, for a crime that I was found not guilty of. Now, do you dumb fuckers in the judiciary think that I'm not going to sue every judge in this nation right now?